when you got onto Gilmore Girls, I was wondering, like, what you knew about the show. Had you seen it?
Well, I got on really early. I think I knew Lauren Graham a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Amy might have known me a little bit, but I think she probably took her cues off of Lauren, and Lauren's just like, let's get Scott Cohen, and
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
it's that's what it seemed like to me. And I actually said no, I didn't want to do it. I mean, it wasn't that much money, and it was. I felt like I don't really want to do a character like this.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife actually said, we watched the pilot together. And she's like, you have to do this. This is fantastic. And so I was like, so then I took it. I knew just the pilot, which I thought was good. I knew Lauren, who I think is a genius. Finally met Amy, who I now think is a genius, but didn't know her then. And I kind of came into it really with eyes wide open and no feeling about it. It just, I mean, I didn't know if it was going to be a success or not. I remember kind of actually
Yeah.
hanging around. I remember hanging around. We were shooting at night in the first season, and I remember they got the message that they were getting picked up for a full season, and I was just like, oh, okay, um, am I involved in it? And um, and so that's kind of how it went. And I really keyed into Amy really early on. This was a situation where she had her way with all these other actors. Like everybody had to do it a certain way, but I wasn't on that list. Like I
Mm-hmm.
really got away with like just being me, and my timing, my kind of how I wanted to say a certain line. I would never argue with her. Like I wasn't like, no, this line has to be said like this. But if I said it in a way, she would let it go. Where there are other actors, she would be like, no, you have to say this word, this word, this word. And that relationship lasted. But she put me in her next show. I just found her to be fantastic, warm, intelligent, creative, fast moving powerhouse of a comedian, writer, and an understanding of the human condition
Mm-hmm.
on so many levels. And Dan, I think, helps her quite a lot. I mean, I think that Dan is totally part of that team, but she is the power, man. She's
Mhm.
extremely powerful.
When you said that you were like allowed to say things however you wanted or kind of follow your own impulses, because there is such like a specific cadence to a lot of the stuff that she
Yeah,
directs.
yeah,
And when I've watched episodes that you're in, it does just seem like you, like you're
yeah. I
not putting
yeah,
anything on.
yeah. It's
It's
weird.
nice. Yeah.
I didn't. It wasn't planned that way.
Hmm.
I just did what I did. And
Hmm.
again, she never said no. So but I heard her say no to a lot of other people. So I
You're
knew,
just
that
special, I
was good.
guess.
Yeah, I was like, it was actually really funny because there was some point where I had this sweater and I wore it like on set, like in rehearsal or something like that. And she didn't like my costume. She was just like so frustrated with my costume. And she's like, he should be wearing something like that. Right. And she points like to what I'm wearing. And so the costume said, well, can he wear that? And she's like, God, can you wear that? And I was like, yeah, sure, I don't care. And it's like, I mean, so I think that she liked who I was, and
Hmm.
Right.
appreciated who I was, and wrote for that for me.
What an easy way to go into a job.
Yeah,
Just to be
totally.
like, just be yourself.
Yeah, totally,
Just
totally.
be you.
I mean, you knew that you had to like get, there were so many pages of dialogue. I mean, you were like,
Hmm.
Right.
God, I'll never remember. I mean, Lauren was such a pro at it. But when you
Yeah.
get into a rhythm of it, you could find it after a while. You know how to memorize stuff after a while. But
Is there any like particular scene or episode that it kind of like sticks out in your mind? I think I saw earlier you were in like 13 episodes,
I
something
don't
like that.
remember.
The character has a real arc and it's very like um contentious even to some people
Oh no, yeah.
that
Were you guys
that
were you at this fan fest? No.
uh-uh.
No. So there was a fan fest. I've never been to one. I went to this one in Maine. There was a huge Max Medina. It's huge. I mean, it's not like, and they wanted me to repeat these lines that I say that I actually had to look up. I had to say, when did I say that? And and I had to like memorize how I said it so I could say it for them.
In Gilmore Girls, people care most about basically the different pairings. Like there's, Rory and all her different guys, and there's Lorelai and her different guys, and like, do you get the feeling that people, like, do people love Luke and Lorelai more than
Oh yeah,
Lorelai?
yeah. People,
Because
people,
I don't.
yeah, people hate me.
Yeah, why though?
Oh, I get hate mail.
It sounds like your DMs are a really interesting place
Are
to be.
wild.
People don't like me. It's okay. I mean, I'm like,
So
okay,
funny.
I mean, all right. I mean that happened up at the fan fest. It's like people, there was this huge line to get autographs and pictures of me, and then every once in a while, someone would come up and say, "I never really liked you, but I'd like to have a picture." I've always been shy of doing stuff like that, but it is what it is. I've never been really that good at it. I was never good at like answering email, fan mail, and I tried to be, but I never hired a company to do it for me, and it's hard. It's very difficult because especially when you've had some success, you kind of always want to go back to your successes, and it's hard. You have to like let your successes go and move on. And that's always been difficult for me because it's like because success is so great, and and so you kind of hang on to like certain things that but I guess what you really try to do is try to focus on what created the success in the first place and move along in that direction. It is weird just having some celebrity and people recognizing you when you just you're going and getting some seltzer at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're dressed like, oh my God, is that really how he dresses?